thank you. I know an easel. He's going to be fun. So I'm about to turn 30, which is maybe look back on the last decade of my life as I've blossomed from like such a nerd at 20 to someone who like wears fun shirts now. But essentially, I've mostly looked back on my dating history, which just reminded me of Soviet Russia. Just because of all the red flags. So I put together a bit of a physical PowerPoint of some of my favourite first date red flag moments. So this first guy, we were out to dinner and he motions to a table like 3 or 4 across from us and says, and then he said, and I just had to be like we met like 7 minutes ago. Now, this next guy, in all fairness to me, did say I probably should have told you earlier, before this. Yeah, that's exactly the sound I made as well when I heard it. I just think that rom-coms raise my standards just a touch too high. Look, this next guy, we grabbed a coffee, went for a walk in a park, and over the course of the next hour, he asked me the following questions. I'm all for interviewing someone like a late night host, just as long as I get to do a 15-minute monologue about myself first. And finally, this final guy, we're at a crowded Italian restaurant. He leans in and whispers to me, which is a bit creepy, especially when what he said was, and I just had this overwhelming thought to myself that, like, I'm all for an activity date, but I'm not sure I like this guy enough to help him bury a body. So I did need to ask. And it's moments like these that I think, what would Jesus do? Oh, sorry, not because I'm religious, just because that guy really knew how to disappear when things got awkward. But I think I've got a solution for all of this. Like, what we need is like a dating rating app, right? Like, you get to the end of a date and you get a notification on your phone, like, please rate your experience with Roland. And just like Uber, like, I feel like you're not coming with me. Like I'm not asking anyone to rate their sex lives, because I'm not sure if I've been doing it right. But all I'm asking is I give them a score out of 5 and maybe some badges at the end, like great conversation, went above and beyond, didn't mention his ex, didn't have like a weird smell. Essentially, all I'm like, you'll know in advance if like they're polyamorous or in an open relationship, because they'd have to join like the Uber pool version of the app, as opposed to what we do now, which is like a fun surprise on the first date, and you have to be like, yeah, me too, but inside you're like, but I'll change it. And like I just need to raise the standards of all our dates quite a bit, because like they have to consider your experience too. So like they might offer you some complimentary water along the way, or maybe like, I don't know, ask you what music you'd like to listen to, as opposed to like just playing Macklemore and telling me that it's their own EP, which has happened on more than one date with Macklemore. And I just now have like these traumatic flashbacks every time I hear Macklemore. But anyway, sorry. It'll also stop people ghosting because they get called out for it. Although actually, just a sidebar, I don't get why we call it ghosting, because like if a ghost just disappeared and then you never heard from them again, that'd be a good thing. Like, I think the bigger issue we have with ghosts is that they like stand at the end of your bed in the middle of the night in like a vintage wedding dress and just stare at you. And like the one time a guy did that to me, technically he hadn't ghosted me yet. So I wasn't sure what to call it. But I just have one last thing that I think we should take for this app, and I think it's the maps function from Uber, because I just think it'd be really helpful to be able to watch someone like heading towards your date, and then like changing their mind, and then like re-deciding they'll go to the date, and then changing their mind again and just like going off in a completely different direction. And also just because the internet's been telling me now for 2 decades that there are hot singles in my area, but I haven't been able to find them. So I just think a map would really help. Those might, like, please don't steal that copyright Matt Bell, right? Thank you.